Well, the Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi is fighting for his political life. A judge in the Italian city of Milan has ordered him to stand trial on charges of having sex with an underage prostitute and for abusing his position by trying to cover it up. The date for the hearing has been set down for April the 6th. All three of the judges set to preside over the trial are women. Europe correspondent Emma Alberici reports.
As the Italian Prime Minister arrived in Sicily for an emergency meeting about the 5,000 Tunisian refugees who've landed on his shores, a personal crisis was erupting in Milan. The 74-year-old sent to trial for extortion and sex with a minor. Karima El Maroug is the exotic dancer who was 17 when prosecutors say she met Silvio Berlusconi at one of his bunga bunga sex parties. Both she and the Prime Minister deny having sex, but they admit he gave her what they told investigators were gifts: a car, a diamond necklace and $9,500 in cash.
In regard to the sex charges, I think it's really difficult to think of an underage prostitute when that woman denies both the sexual intercourse and having been paid.
Among the 600 pages of evidence are said to be transcripts of phone taps, conversations between the Prime Minister and a string of women who attended his parties and took photographs of themselves posing at his mansion. Meanwhile, the girl in question, Karima El Maroug, also known by her stage name Ruby the Heart Stealer, is cashing in on her newfound fame, appearing in this marketing campaign for a self-help book. She was reportedly paid more than $100,000 to strip in this television commercial.
Once you start hearing the positions of, the testimony of the various witnesses and the girls who were in the wiretapping and the conversation on the phone wiretapping, then, if you start to hear something which is really embarrassing and difficult to handle, I think that could hurt the image of Berlusconi and his positioning as Prime Minister.
3 female judges will also hear evidence about Mr. Berlusconi's decision to telephone a police station to have Ruby released from custody on an unrelated theft charge. The PM denies he abused his position. He says it was all a misunderstanding, that he believed she was the granddaughter of the Egyptian president, whom he wanted to save from any diplomatic embarrassment. If he's found guilty, Mr. Berlusconi could face 15 years in jail, but that's if he even makes it to court. Under constitutional law in Italy, he can still argue that his responsibilities to the country as Prime Minister outweigh the need for him to appear before the judges. And if he manages to delay the trial for long enough, there's every chance the statute of limitations will expire and he'll be acquitted before anyone reaches the witness box. It's happened in many of the other cases against him, and observers don't rule out the possibility that it could happen again.
There is no legal obligation that he has to resign, and in political terms, Berlusconi has shown himself for the last 17 years not to be the resigning type. He's a fighter. He has survived many other accusations and indictments.
Notice of the trial was served just days after up to 1 million people took part in a march calling for Mr. Berlusconi's resignation. Still, the anger on the streets isn't reflected in the polls. His popularity rating at 35% is still the highest among politicians in Italy. If an election was called today, he'd win. Emma Alberici, Lateline.